You look good without them. We're live. Good morning, Mark. Episode 306. Mark's disappeared. We're going to be talking about the smartest people we know, or person maybe that we know in real estate. Mark, you look good without your glasses there, mate.
Nah, it's got to get glasses, man. You know, it just doesn't feel normal. How are you this one? This is really interesting, hey? We're talking about some of my favourite people in the world.
Yep. Are we talking about one person, or are we talking about multiple people today, would you say? Is there a single smartest, or has everyone got their different intrinsic reasons why they are the smartest people at real estate or within real estate or property?
Do you know what? The guys that I know, so look, agent 27 years, right? And love property. And you're always looking for the secret, or you're always looking for the code, the Da Vinci Code. You're always looking at what's important for you. And this morning I wanted to talk about some of the heroes to me in real estate and what they have in common to become heroes in and these are particularly property people. So on all scales. So whether they may be someone like Harry Triguboff, I think one of the top 3 wealthiest men in the country, who I personally had a couple of meetings with. To Mr. Bruno Scalaccio, DY, entrepreneur, 90 odd years of age.
Hustler. Hustler. But
to a friend Theo, but it's pretty amazing meeting these guys, and I wanted to talk about what these guys have in common, and that's today's topic.
All right, well, we'll be back in 30 seconds then, won't we?
Really? Yeah, I don't know why we did that. What was that about?
Oh, mate, it's my first time on StreamYard. First time on StreamYard.
Let's get into it.
All right, so I'll leave for a moment. Mark, you said then some of the key traits, some of the different things that these people probably have in common that's led them to property success. What would be some of the common denominators between these legends of property that we're talking about today?
Look, these are iconic people to me in property. I've spent my life. My dad was a real estate agent for 23 years. I've been a real estate agent for almost 30 years. There's almost 60 years in property, and we're passionate about property. And when you get to meet people like this, you almost wish you could document it. You almost wish you could share it, and because I think we often wonder, how the hell do these guys do what they do in property? And when I say, like, it doesn't mean that they own property or lots of property that they're my heroes, but it's almost that journey and how they went through that journey to get to that stage. And it's like, how did you do it at 21? How did you do it at 17? How did you do it at 30? And you know, you want a bit of that DNA. So let's talk about it.
All right, so key traits, characteristics. Most of these people, as you say, they probably started from quite a young age. I'm sure they didn't necessarily have the desire from day dot to have this absolute enormous, and they might not have a massive portfolio of property behind them, but you know, what's the driver behind that? Why has property made these people so successful in the end? I think I know probably a bit more about the Bruno Scalaccio, but are there any key points that, you know, these guys would all be sharing that started off with hustle? Is that where it comes from? Is there more to it?
Yeah, look, and I hope people don't mind me talking about them in third party. Like I know to talk about someone, you almost need their permission or you feel bad and stuff like that. But something that strikes me about these operators, particularly, we do see them at the end of their life. You know, so you look at Harry Triguboff, one of the wealthiest men in the country, off the back of building lots of apartments
Yeah.
and you see the guy working, going to work every day, you hear about the legend, and you just think to yourself, why the hell would you continue to work
Yeah.
when you got that much,
Yeah.
and you got your family and you got your health? Why the hell are you working the same like a dog? And then you see your Bruno Scalurcios, and you see that. And I mean this respectfully to all these guys, and you think to yourself, man, why are you doing this? Why are you like? When's enough enough?
Yeah.
When is it that you've got enough property to turn around and say, look, I don't have to turn up. So Bruno, for instance, if anyone doesn't know him, he made his money as a bootmaker, as a cobbler, and he's in DY. I think Bruno now is in 93, and he turns up to work Monday to Saturday, and he turns up 9 to 5. This is a gentleman in his 90s.
Yeah.
Harry Triggerboff, if anyone doesn't know that, he's the founder and of Meriton, and I think they've built in excess of 80,000 apartments now on the eastern seaboard of Australia. And you think to yourself, man. So when you meet these guys, when I meet these guys, I'm always really keen to see what the driver is between these guys. And you know what, James? It was never about the money for these guys.
Yeah.
That's what I've realised.
It's the ethos. And do you think that's something you're born with, or it's instilled within them? Is it just the natural work ethic that comes with their DNA? Or is there a key driver? Is the driver could be, I suppose it could be anything.
That's a killer question, man. That's a killer question.
It could be the people around you. It could be your desires and your wants and your needs passing all else. Like there's a million things that could really take over this. I don't think for these people it's greed. It's not about wanting more and more and more, but more is the byproduct of what happens from having this ethic.
You know what, James? When you're a tennis champion and you're winning world titles, was your motivation money? I don't reckon.
No, it doesn't stop. No.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like I think that, but that's a really good question. I'd love to know, people that are watching, what your thoughts are. And that is, these are some of the leading people in property in the country that are working in their 90s. Like, were they born with that? Were they, or was that something they instilled in themselves? What do you reckon?
I don't know. It's interesting because you think you can never envisage that for yourself from the beginning. So you never, at the beginning on day one of a career, you would never say my end goal is to have, Meriton, 80,000 complex, 80,000 apartments, or a property portfolio that's probably in the triple digits. You don't ever suspect. It's not normal to happen. That's a 0.00001%. But I think as you go along with it, they're the byproducts that continue to, it increases and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And as I say, it's not greed, but it becomes easier as you get more wealthy, probably. If you've got that work ethic, if you've got your health, if you've got your family, and you're someone that needs to work to live rather than needs to live to work. Sorry, I got that the wrong way around. It's not a chore. You do it because you enjoy it. It's a passion. And, these things don't happen. The world's most successful people in their industries don't get there because of one single factor. Generally, it comes down to the passion that drives everything else within.
Okay, let's go back to my observation, guys, about dealing with these clients that I deal with and other clients that are of that caliber. And the other things that I've noticed with these guys is they have patterns.
Yeah,
they have, and they don't stray away from their pattern. So people like even me, people like Bruno in DY, unbelievable person, investor, family man. These guys have pretty good balance. Harry Triggerboff, Theo. These guys they're successfully married, but they've wonderful kids. They have their trials and tribulations, but you know what? These guys have a pattern. And what you said about is it in your DNA or do you program it? These guys programmed good, healthy patterns very early in their lives, and they actually never strayed from it. That's another thing I realised from these guys. So some may call that really boring. I call that walking the grey line. I think it's a beautiful thing if you've got the ability. So guys and girls who are watching, some of the most successful property people in the country that I've personally met, there's another trade. They have these patterns that work and they never stray from it. Nothing will stray them from it. So much so, when you look at Bruno, he's 93 years of age, his patterns to go to work, and he does that 6 days a week. The man does not need to work, because everyone says that because of money, but it was never about money.
Yeah. The way you often talk about it in some of our conversations, it's the holistic idea. It's the bigger picture. It's not just one element of your life. It's having successful and healthy traits across all boards, not just work, not just family, not just exercise and health and all these things. They all come together. They converge essentially. And, that's the formula for success. One of them on their own in isolation wouldn't be a healthy way to go about it. But, if all of these things are coming together, that is what really is the formula that's going to drive that success on and for sustained periods of time as well.
Yeah. And again, guys, if you've just tuned in, we're talking about the smartest people in property that we know, the trades they have. We've talked about Harry Trigboff. We've talked about the great Bruno Scalacci on the Northern Beaches. We've talked about the great Theo on the Northern Beaches, and what these guys do. Another thing I've noticed with these guys is what they do. When they hit, they don't miss.
Yeah.
They don't do things in halves. So these guys, when they make a move, they put everything behind that move, wrong or right, forever.
Yeah.
So they won't buy the property, then sell the property, and you turn around 2 years later and go, oh well, they will make that property work. So they don't miss when they hit. They hit hard, and they put all their force behind it. So these guys, very, very common. Like for instance, Bruno and Theo. These guys, when they buy something, they never sell it. Never. It's not sold. Stamp duty, agents' fees, all these costs, getting it out of property, they just don't. So they're forever purchases. That's another trade I'll see with these guys.
Yeah, and that's it. And then it all comes back down to it's not because of one single need to accumulate. It's not just for your own pocket. They then do that to then support everyone else around them. And, it's quite a beautiful thing actually. When you think of the Scalaccio idea, coming from nothing, working hard, one property eventually turns into two, eventually turns into four, and then the development just carries itself. And, when you can see the value in not having to sell the property, there's no need.
Yep.
If you're in a hole.
Another thing as well that strikes me with the smartest property people in property that I know is they are lovely people. They are very simple people. They don't complicate it. So and I know I met a gentleman called Rob Gerard, family friend. At the time, I think he was BRW number 50, and first time I met him, I walked away and I thought, you expected like Einstein, do you know what I mean, with these guys? But these people are very grounded. They're good people. Do you know what I mean? So I think guys and girls, if you don't try to make things complex, because whenever we meet, we all meet amazing people, successful in the industry. Something that's always really striking is they're just good, simple people. And they have a good balance of family and health. But they don't change those patterns from the beginning, eh?
Yeah.
Stick to your core is what most of them have. If you look at their business 25 years ago, 35 years ago, 45 years ago, 65 years ago, it was the same business.
Yeah. Would you agree that, there's a conception in real estate that it's quite a superficial industry, but these people don't show the superficial side of things. No matter how big their pocket is, it's not about what you're showing to the people. It's about what remains you know, what's hidden behind people that they don't know about. And that's even more impressive, I think, isn't it? Where, you know, it's not being able to brag about how well you've done. It's just keep quietly doing what you're doing, chiseling away, and, you know, building it up slowly and steadily, day by day. As you say, sticking to the plan from day one, or whatever the routine was, all of these little things.
Yeah, and it's almost like they're genuinely doing it for themselves and not doing it for anyone else.
Yeah.
You know, that's the whole idea. They're not flashy or talking it up, or because it's not about, they're not doing it for you to impress you or anyone around them. They're doing it just holistically because that's their pattern, or that's their sport, or that's their craft. For them, you know what I mean? So they often, you know, after after 5 or 10 years of working with these people, you work out their depth. But, you know, they don't show that depth up front. They don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the ones that want to show that, and it's just all about what you're bringing to the surface, you spend everything that's going to build and accrue your wealth, and you see them driving around in a brand new sports car, and they've, you know, they paid $250 for it, or they've leased it, even better, but that's all the money they've got, and they're going back to their little apartment, eating baked beans. It's a bit of a stupid analogy. It's true, you know.
And you know what? Give me something funny. They don't lease shit.
Yeah.
They lease nothing.
Yeah.
If they can't afford it, they don't buy it. Do you know what I mean? So that's really cool. I think that's a really good discipline that all those guys have, and we all should have. You know, I'm not shy of debt and risk. Like, it's really interesting that there's this appetite. You know, if the bank will give them the money, they will take money for a good investment. You know, so that's interesting.
It's good debt over bad debt, and there are bad debts, but, you know, having a mortgage of debt isn't a negative thing, is it, at the end of the day? Because it could be...
Not at all. No, it's a good, healthy debt. But, guys, that's the show. And something I'm passionate about that, and I don't share it much with people. But that's my learnings. You know what I mean? Like, I look at stuff like that, and I think, you know, like, you're killed to meet and talk and be friends with amazing people. But to share those learnings is really interesting, and, you know, feel a bit bad about it, but yeah, it's something that.
But, you know, they're the role models of the industry, and, you know, 30 years in to still get excited like that, you know, that's quite an unbelievable thing that not many people will have after that amount of time, with the amount of changing of industry and careers that people are having in the modern day. So, yeah, fire's still burning.
Giddy up.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Mate, enjoy your flat cap day, civilian uniforms. See you guys.
See you guys. Bye.